Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. Today is Wednesday, November 5th. It has only been 10 days since the debacle that is LSU started with the firing of Brian Kelly. It feels like it's been 10 years. It feels like it's been a lot longer than 10 days, but it hasn't. And what a mess we have made of all of this. You have a lot of different voices saying a lot of different things. You have a lot of backtracking going on. We finally thought we have our president, we have our AD, and now we can start looking towards the coaching search. And it seems like we do have our president, obviously. But the president now is backtracking on the AD decision with Verge. Verge is the current AD, but still, based off definition, the interim AD. Not the interim tag, but that's where it kind of feels like it is the interim AD as far as he's going to make a decision. He's going to reevaluate. The president, Roos, said it right, is going to reevaluate at the end of the season and see where we're at. There's a lot of conversations. There's a lot of voices being heard. That's never a good thing. And who knows how this is going to turn out, but right now, as we stand today, it is a mess. And does not feel like there's a ton of coaches banging down the door to come to LSU and want to coach. That can change. Obviously, you have to get out of this news cycle. It's been a 10-day negative news cycle for LSU. Has not been good. You have got to kind of get through this news cycle. You've got to get past it. Time will heal all wounds. Hopefully that is the case. Hopefully you can turn the attention to the LSU-Alabama game, which if a lot of people have probably forgotten, LSU and Alabama play this weekend in Tuscaloosa. You've had a lot of noise about a lot of other things surrounding LSU, but football, but the actual play on the field. But they do play this weekend, and that is something that we're going to talk about. We're obviously going to talk about all the other stuff, but I want to focus a lot of the conversation on the football side of it because it's been 2 weeks. They get back on the field with Frank Wilson leading the team. A lot of new things that he is trying. It feels like he has read the interim head coach book and the manual, and he is following that to a T. Changed things that weren't working. Hey, this is what we're doing. This is what people didn't like. Okay, we're going to run the football, which I do believe that they're going to do that. We got more physical in practice, which obviously they've been doing. So they're doing a lot of things to be different than they were before because, hey, what we were doing before was not working for us. So we shall see how this weekend pans out. We'll talk all about that throughout the course of the show. We also have Fletcher Mackel coming on the show live at 7 to talk all things Saints. Obviously, the NFL trade deadline was yesterday. Saints kind of unloaded a couple guys. One being Raheed Shaheed. They got 2 draft picks, I think a 3rd and a 4th rounder, or a 4th and a 5th rounder for him, 4th and a 5th for Shaheed. They also got rid of Trevor Penning, which I think they got a draft pick for him, which is a good thing.
Was it a first-round pick?
It was not a first-round pick. The way things have been trending in Louisiana football, Trevor Penning's going to go to the team that he got traded to, end up being an all-pro, and we're going to look back and say, wow, we really screwed the pooch on that one. But I'm sure there are other guys that were in trade conversations that ended up not getting moved. We're going to talk to Fletcher about that when he comes on the show at 7. Tonight is the opening night for LSU basketball. I know that doesn't get a lot of people excited, but that is happening. At 7 o'clock tonight, they start the season at home against Tarleton State. By all accounts, this is Matt McMahon's last opportunity to turn it around, I believe. I mean, I think that's kind of what the rumor has been. Hey, we've given you more NIL money this year to go get some other guys. Let's kind of see. It's make or break for you. We'll see how that goes. But LSU basketball is playing. I'm a sick LSU fan, and rain or shine, I am going to watch them. I enjoy basketball. I enjoy college basketball. So I will be watching LSU basketball this year. Hopefully, they are a lot more competitive and more entertaining than they have been over the last couple years. But that is to be seen. We are joined by our producer, the beautiful Lloyd Courtney. Our swings, our golf swings are on the internet.
That's
now.
right. That's good.
Your swing is getting complimented.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
My swing has not been one way or the other.
It's right down the middle. That's where you want to live, though.
Listen, my drive was good. Swing's not the prettiest. So very baseball-esque, very baseball-ish swing. But we had a great day. Obviously, Chris Phillips from SC Unfiltered was here a couple weeks ago for the A&M game. We played at University Club, and he's now posting.
Hell yeah.
Our day.
Had to put it together.
Yeah, we're out there.
See, this is what happens when you set the bar extremely low for just yourself in general, and you do something that's semi-athletic. They're like, "Oh my god!"
Well, I don't think it was more. It was just the form of the swing. It was good.
Yeah, it did something that's aesthetically pleasing.
It was good.
I'm surprising people.
You get to the front side. That's something I do not do.
I'll get you there.
Yeah, we're working on it.
I sent you that video of that Asian guy.
Yes, you did.
That's what you need to do.
Yeah. What is it?
Yeah. That's the move.
I've been practicing that in the mirror.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, that's Allie's pregnant for a reason.
Yeah. We're also joined by co-host, two-time national champion, once in baseball, once in football, first-round pick for the Chicago White Sox, played quarterback at Westgate High School, right-handed, played center field in the professional baseball ranks, left-handed, man of all trades, Jared Mitchell. Jared, welcome back to the show. You're not in Louisiana, so you only get to hear the shit show from afar, and it's not any less of a shit show on your side than it is on our side. Even though you are in Houston, it has been a
debacle.
A debacle is probably the nicest way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it hasn't been great. It hasn't been great. LSU hasn't had a lot of good positive publicity here lately.
I'll tell you this. I'm running around doing some stuff this afternoon, and the news that I got of this, I wasn't really able to lock in and really pay attention to it, but I just figured that someone had gotten wind of, like there's so many fake accounts that put out fake news these days, had gotten wind of one of those accounts that did a pretty good job of making it seem like a real account. And it just kind of caught wind and went. I just figured that's what it had to have been. Like, it just, no way we messed that up.
Yep. We did.
Boy, was I wrong.
We did.
Boy, was I wrong.
We did. We messed that one up.
It's like somebody cooked up a big-ass egg. Like, I'm talking a big Texas-sized egg. And they put that bitch in a Texas-sized spoon. And they just flung it. And that bitch just landed on Louisiana and just...
Yeah, egg on everybody's face, right? And Wade Roos came out. He's the new president of LSU, coming from McNeese.
For now.
Coming from McNeese. And his first 24 hours on the job has not been, I would say, enjoyable for him right now. Monumental moment in his life, become the president of LSU. Then he comes out with I guess he got interviewed about all the stuff that's happening with the football team, and comes out and says that he's not sure the difference between the interim title and the current title that Verge has, right? And then came back and basically said Verge is the acting AD, which makes me feel like the interim tag. You can take the interim tag off or not, but acting AD is interim. And he said he is going to have full authority to make the next coaching hire, but at the end of the season he will reevaluate the state of things and decide then. So the alignment that we thought we were about to get on Tuesday, we have not gotten. We have not gotten.
Kind of rocky to start, huh?
We have not gotten.
Is it at the end of the year or at the end of the season that he's going to reassess and do something different?
Your answer is as good as mine, Jared.
Guess.
Your guess is as good as mine. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know what that means, but I'll tell you what it does mean. All the stuff that we had talked about on Monday about, it's going to be the coaching search going to be, which look, I think it will be okay eventually. But right now, the coaching search is can't be going great. The conversations that they're having can't be good.
I gotta imagine, like, either you can only pick up the phone and call people who really don't qualify maybe for this job yet right now. Like that's, but if you're calling someone that we feel like truly qualifies for this, I gotta imagine they're like, hey yo, who? Man, yeah. So how about you do this? How about you get your house in order and all your affairs over there? Because I see, I'm looking. Yeah, I see all that stuff y'all got going on. You need to clean that up first. And when you clean it up, give me a call back and maybe we can have a conversation.
Correct.
But until then,
correct.
Like I gotta feel like that's what the conversation is right now,
Correct.
right?
Because the big name guys that you're going to try to go after aren't going to want to mess with this. They're not, right? You want to go after Lane Kiffin, he ain't going to mess with this right now. You're going to want to go after Marcus Freeman, he ain't going to mess with this. You're going to go after Dan Lanning, they ain't going to mess with this. Dan Lanning ain't coming here to begin with, but if you want to name a big name coach out there, they're not going to want to come over here and step foot in this mess right now. Now, 4 weeks from now, it could seem different.
If that's not who you targeting, you may be good. But I got to feel like you're at least picking up the phone and wanting to call them. Correct. Right? And if you are, they're not listening to this shit right now.
The longer this goes this way, the more likely you're going to go get. Look, some of these candidates that I like, that I didn't think that LSU was going to go and make an offer at and go get because of the schools they're coming from, or they're not a head coach, or they're not the big name. The longer this thing goes, the more likely it is that you're going to go after one of those guys. And and I'm not saying they're not good. I think some of those guys are going to be great coaches. But they're not going to be the name that's going to go and get everybody all feeling all nice and happy and excited. So
I just don't understand, man. Like living in Louisiana, growing up in Louisiana, we all know whether we're not going to be the ones to not, but whether you want to admit it or not, that the state runs off of LSU, right? And we all know what the upgrading of LSU football has done to the state and for the city of Baton Rouge. We all know what kind of income it brings. We all know what it does to the economy, especially when it's really good. It is mind-boggling to me that when you're at a state of change right now, looking towards the future of what LSU football can be, that you would even have the audacity to play with what you could possibly do to come in here and shape the next 15 to 20 years of what could be LSU football and the state of Louisiana. It's mind-blowing to me that you would mess around with something it could be that fragile and delicate if it's done right, or it can be pushed back and not done right for another 5 to 10 because you haven't gotten the right guy. What are we doing here?
No, nobody knows. Nobody knows what they're doing right now, and it sucks for all of us. You know what I mean? Like we don't have any say in any of the decisions. We're just the bystanders that are watching and wanting it to be good, and it's just not good.
Should it be this hard?
It should not. It should not be this hard. But it's hard right now. And like I said, not saying things won't change over the next 4 weeks. You're not hiring a coach tomorrow. You're not hiring a coach next week. Now you're starting to have conversations.
But that's the part of the bigger issue, right? Because what was the prevailing theory after you named Verge? Or I don't want to say named, because I don't know the difference between interim and active. I'm trying to figure that out also, right? So after you take off the interim tag and made Verge effectively the standing athletic director, isn't that the reason you did it was so he could make a hire?
Correct. And he came out and said he still has authority to make the hire.
Well, that doesn't mean he's going to be here after. That doesn't shit. Now you're back to square one with this shit. Wherever agent said that you're reaching out to or trying to talk to.
Well, who's going to be here when my guy gets there?
Exactly.
Right. I get that.
What if he doesn't like me?
Correct.
Okay, so we signed up. Good luck with. Buyouts are a bad thing, right? The AD comes in I would not have picked this person. So now whenever you coach and you go, 6-6 your first year, it's get him out of here.
Even if it's a great one, say this is the great, say this hire is even better than Nick Saban. Let's just go ahead and shoot for the stars on this. Let's flip it around the complete opposite way. Who's always gonna get the credit for it if you don't hire Verge? Verge.
Right.
At that point, who's always going to be the AD that's basically said, you didn't do that. What are you even doing here?
Well, let me say this. I get what I understand. Okay, the president said what he said, and it didn't make a lot of sense. If Verge goes and makes the hire, the president comes. I'm willing to believe. I'll bet at the end of the year, the president's going to come out and say Verge is going to be the AD. Honestly, at this point, that's the only thing you really can do. If he's going to go hire a guy, the only thing you really can do is say he is our AD.
That's why I think he did that to begin with. I think, obviously, the powers that be and the way that this power structure and power dynamic is working is it's becoming very apparent. I think that you saw basically from the top down, from the governor being able to axe the president, axe the athletic director, and then force his board of so this is what I think happened, and this is all conjecture, but it does make a lot of sense. He axes the president, doesn't like him. He's been having this deal with Roos for quite some time. It's the worst kept secret in Louisiana, right? He's not even really qualified for the job when you look into his resume, but that doesn't seem to matter. And then you go, okay, I don't like the athletic director. Do you have
said resume in front of you? Just
well,
because I don't.
According to the qualifications.
I want Lloyd to finish this whole thing out. I don't know what the actual resume is.
Well, I'm gonna put a sidebar in there and then let Lloyd finish his thought. One of the qualifications, you have to come from an R1 university, which Lloyd looked up, and that is a what?
R1 university is a doctoral university with very high research activity. R1 university prioritizes to produce high levels of research in a wide range of fields. As of 2025, the specific criteria are at least $50 million in research spending, at least 70 doctoral degrees per year. They have other faculty and facilities. Institutes are known for having distinguished faculty engaged in high-level research, providing extensive research facilities. Prestigious universities like Harvard, Stanford, the University of Michigan are an example of R1 institutions. He got his PhD at the University of Illinois. He went to UNO, and he went to Nichols. So he went to Nichols for his undergrad, UNO to get his master's, and then a PhD
from Illinois.
Right.
Which Illinois is a good school.
I guess. I don't know. I don't know if it's an R1 school.
It doesn't. You're supposed to have a background in research, and you're supposed to be a tenured professor. That is some of the prerequisites that it takes to be a president. So finish your thought. I don't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no worries. So, after you see how this man is picked, and it's obviously hand-selected by Landry, and then Landry has an axe to grind with Scott Woodward, fires him and paints this picture of, what would it be, buyouts are a bad thing, and you missed on the Brian Kelly deal, and so this is your fault, I'm firing you. And then it becomes Verge as maybe the Board of Supervisors' choice, that they want to become, if it's not going to be Scott, which you're seeing already the implications.
I don't think Scott should have been fired.
Like, that's what I was about to say. You're seeing the implications of not having Scott Woodward here right now. Like, you didn't see it, none of this shit happened like this. Like, he was very organized and good at keeping this shit away from whatever the search was and whatever athletics was doing. You didn't hear a word from Scott Woodward about a search. We had no clue.
And
Brian
Scott
Kelly
did a great job of going raise money for NIL too, by the way.
Exactly. Like, they're made that's a terrible decision. It was somebody that was very good at their job. Look, if I have the autonomy to make a hire like Brian Kelly, nobody knows about it. Look at right now. Everybody's getting a rumor of something. And so I think you just made a massive swing and a miss with letting Scott Woodward out the door or intimidating him out the door and be like, I don't want to work with you. And so that's fine because you're already seeing the ramifications of what is happening. But then I think if you're the Board of Supervisors who felt like they had to kind of get on the same page as Jeff Landry, they go, okay, if you want this guy to be the president, we'll approve it, but you better approve Verge as athletic director, and that means telling your boy, take off the interim tag. And they all did that yesterday, and now they're looking back at it going, oh, God, I don't know. Like, this is all moving very quickly because how many people make the decision that he made and then backtracked and said, who makes a good decision in 8 hours? Like, why are you making decisions in 8 hours?
Right. So, you didn't have to say you could have said a lot without saying anything. We've learned that in Louisiana. There's a lot you can say without saying anything. Look, time is going to be the telling thing. Like, as time goes, we're going to kind of see how this thing plays out. I do believe Verge will end up being the AD full time. I think at this point that's
really your only option.
Kind of what you have to do. Like I said, I like Verge. I understand there's a lot of things that happened in the past that.
Yeah, but at this point, you can't hold that over his head.
I was getting there.
If that's held over his head, he doesn't have a job at the school at this point anyway.
Correct. And they're not holding that over his head. Obviously, it's
no, I know.
Public.
I'm just saying, like, going forward, people are sitting here saying, hey, how can you hire him if he's done this or done that in the past? Why does he still have a job if that was a problem?
Yeah, it was a public perception. I like Verge a lot. I think Verge is great. I don't think he'd be a bad job for a bad guy for AD. I don't. I think he would do fine. But at this point, if you're not gonna go do a national search, and you've made him the acting AD, he needs to be the full-time AD if he's gonna be the guy to hire your next football coach, which it seems like he's going to be.
Well, yeah, he gets that. Like I said, he gets that responsibility. But then who knows will be next if it's not Verge? So it just doesn't make any sense for this to, because you did have to say something as to who was going to be athletic director. But the only real move you have was to, like, make a decision.
Which you did.
You had to do this in lockstep.
You did. Now you came out after you made the decision. Once that decision was made, you made for about 12 hours.
Mm-hmm. Slept on it.
Everybody was like, okay, we're moving in the positive direction. We have a president. We have an AD. Now let's move on to the head coaching search. And you hadn't heard anything from Governor Landry in
thank God
3 days, right? And so, like, okay, let's just keep moving forward. And then this comes out, and it's like, okay, now we go backwards, and it's a mess again, and maybe we're not in alignment. And so now these conversations that you're trying to have with other coaches aren't going to go anywhere right now because they don't know if Verge is going to be there or not. That's why I think Verge has to stay there. That's the only thing you have at this point right now to be able to keep this thing intact and to go get a guy that is going to be fit to lead LSU football. I think that really is probably your only option. I think we're all in agreement on that.
And it's starting to look more and more because you don't know.
Like goofiness?
Yeah, we're aligned. This room.
We're always aligned.
Yeah.
We're always going in the right direction.
But it does feel like, I mean, there's a real opportunity here for not only Verge Osbury to be, I guess he's now auditioning for AD, and then also Frank Wilson is now auditioning for your head coach because while it was once the best job in the country or the best job that's open in the country at LSU, it's starting to feel like that is very much not the case because shit keeps coming out where people are like, why would I go work? They don't know. Y'all get y'all's house in order and quit calling me.
Correct. And now instead of it being, oh, this is the best job in the country, now the conversation is this could be the best job in the country if you didn't have all the outside stuff, right? As far as a football school and a university and someone who can go recruit and have the resources and have all, yes, one of the best jobs in the country. But everybody's going to take into consideration what comes on the outside of it, right? Governor getting involved, board of supervisors, making these decisions that don't make a ton of sense, backtracking on decisions. It's just none of that looks good for somebody to come in here and say, I'm going to leave a comfortable situation that I'm at to come here. Yeah, the upside could be huge, but if it's the same disaster that it is right now and it doesn't get in order, I'm going to be looking for a job in 2 years. And nobody wants to do that, right? Now, I think ultimately it is going to get figured out. I think ultimately you're going to get a coach that is good. I love Frank Wilson. I don't think Frank Wilson is going to be the head coach at LSU. I don't. I think Frank Wilson is going to be the associate head coach like he was before Brian Kelly was fired. I think he's going to be, kind of the backbone of the team as far as recruiting. Everybody loves him. The players love him. I think he's an important asset to this team. And I think he's going to continue to be. I just don't think it's going to be as the head coach. That's what I
mean, yeah, that's fair. That's fair if that's what your thought is on that. At this point, I feel like LSU is still a spot where you can get someone to at least, at worst, at minimum, take a chance. So who knows where this search is going to go. And like I already previously stated, I'm not exactly sure that 4 games is enough of a runway to sit here and say, we want to give you this job. And it doesn't matter how good of a job you do. I just really think that, I feel like if Frank is the man for the job at the end of the day, if that's the choice that's made, I will 100% support it because I think Frank's a damn good coach, right? But I also do think you're looking at way more than just the performance of the last 4 games. You're looking at way more than just what he's able to do in recruiting and how much he's able to hold it together, or how much he's held it together since this whole thing is going down. Like, there's a lot that I think that would have to go into that. And if that is the decision that's made and it works out great, I think it's awesome. Awesome, right? Like, I'm all about it. I'm just not exactly sure that they're willing to roll the dice and do that, if you will, at this point.
Yeah.
With that being said, when you look at the rest of the landscape, I do think that, man, like, LSU's such an enticing job that you may get. We don't know what everybody else's house looks like, right? So you don't know what the Ole Miss house looks like and what Lane has to deal with. I don't know. We don't know that. You know, we can sit here and look at whatever success they're having right now, but you don't know when you peel back the layers, you don't know what's going on there. We don't know what people are dealing with. So with that being said, I think the LSU job is a good enough job to where, whether it's a top flight name or a name you don't know a ton of already, you're going to get someone that's quality. And I'm not talking about the actual resume of what they've done. But you're going to get someone that's quality, that's willing to take a chance at what an LSU can do for them. But in the interim, you're making this job look you're making what's so attractive look so unattractive right now.
Correct.
And that's the crazy part about it is I don't know why you would play with a job that could be this fruitful for the university, this fruitful for the state of Louisiana, this fruitful for the city of Baton Rouge. Why you would play with it to the point that they have so far by just that opportunity, just that chance that you may miss out on the one that you really should have landed.
Correct. And if you go look at the other jobs that are open, right? You said, I don't know what everybody else's houses are in order, right? I don't know what they look like. Florida's been a disaster. Now, it's not as dysfunctional or public as this is right now, but Florida has, ever since they fired Dan Mullen, has been a disaster. They have not won. They've been all over the place. They've been in and out of coaches. Hasn't been good. Auburn, not great. Auburn's also been a disaster. Arkansas, not great, right? Out of all the openings of big-time openings right now, Penn State seems like we don't know what they look like, but it seems, looking from afar, they have the most
resources and
organization right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I think they learned from their mistakes.
Correct. They were in a bad spot.
They were.
And look, James Franklin was a big reason why they're where they're at right now, right? He was a big reason why they righted the ship and they got back to where they were and they got past the worst time in their university's history.
Yeah.
Right? Like that. I mean, they did that. So, LSU is not the only one that has their issues. Obviously, we're so close to it and we see it, and it's been very public and it's been very, very loud, and that is not good. Right? With that said, though, I think as time passes, I think you're going to start seeing it kind of stabilize a little bit. Now you're going to have to the questions are not going to go away about who's in charge and who's doing this kind of stuff, and hopefully those answers there are some answers to that as we move forward. But at this point, it doesn't look good. It hasn't been fun to be a part of. I'm exhausted by hearing it. Right? I'm getting text messages from friends around the country. What the hell is going on over there? I don't know. That's my answer. I don't know. It hasn't been good. So we shall see. But
I have a question real quick.
Okay.
It's LSU football related.
Okay.
Do you think that the way that college football has changed whenever you saw, I believe it was the Nick Saban comments or it was either him or Kirk Herbstreit, was one of the two, about what's the best job of the country and whatever. He's like,
who has the most money?
No, he said he essentially said who will give you the most money.
That's what I mean.
It's no longer dictated by blue bloods or the school name or the brands. Like, you can build a brand anywhere.
Correct.
If you're allocated the right amount of money and given the right amount of resources. And now it feels like that everybody kind of has donors, right? They weren't able to give it in the same way or make it didn't have to jump through so many hoops now. Now it's just here.
Here's the money.
And that's why, I guess his biggest point was, like, you ever think Indiana would be number two team in the country? And then back-to-back years where they've been in the college football. Like, I didn't even know Indiana had a football team.
Right.
And with all that said, that's where it gets to LSU in my mind. And what I find interesting is maybe Louisiana and LSU and the pressure about it might be unattractive to some people. Like if I can stay and build something at Ole Miss, Indiana, why do I need to island hop to go to somewhere? It's like, you better come here and win or you're getting fucking fired.
I don't disagree with that. The only pushback I'll give you is Indiana is a good example, right? Because we've seen it for 2 years. Now we've seen it for 2 years. We haven't seen it for longer than that, right? Look, Cignetti's great. I think he's a good coach. He obviously got paid like he's a good coach. He hit on 2 transfer quarterbacks in a row, right? He did. And maybe he's going to continue doing that.
Well, now we can recruit it.
But maybe he's not, right? It's Indiana. But Indiana is really the only team over the last 2 or 3 years that hasn't been a team that
Texas
has
Tech?
historically been. This is a first-year Texas Tech, and we don't know of how good they are yet. They lost. They play a big game this weekend. But, Texas Tech, they throw some money out there. But, nobody's proven that it's sustainable. These smaller schools haven't yet. That's not their fault. That's just they haven't had enough time to prove it. But, yeah, you can go build a program. You can go build a good team for 1 or 2 years, right? It just, can you sustain it for longer than that? We don't know that yet. We haven't seen that. What?
No, dude. I was just going to do it. I think it's at a spot right now. I don't think he was just alluding to just the dollars and who's going to give the dollars and how much you're going to give the dollars. I think he was talking about the infrastructure of how that stuff's set up. I think the old system, the way it used to go, was obviously you had the coach that coached ball. He did this. They brought in the players by recruiting, by true recruiting for the most part. You had the academic stuff set up. You had the facilities set up, and those kind of did the selling on its own. I truly think he's talking about now. Yes, the actual money to be able to go get the players is what's needed, but those people don't just show up on your doorstep. Do you have the infrastructure inside of that, of the right people who's going to influence the right kind of money getters, the right people who are going to go get these players down to the right numbers that you need them at to be able to get them, and then when you do, you get them on campus. I think he means, hey, who set up that kind of infrastructure the best to where we can maximize the amount of money that we're actually getting, and the people that have that put together the best rosters who end up, if you have a good coach, you play the best on the field at that point.
Well, I'm glad.
I think that's what he means by this. Not just, hey, who's giving the most. LSU spent a ton.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Halloween comes, we ain't in it.
Correct.
So it ain't just the money.
Correct. And I'm glad you said good coach.
And they spent a ton on what was called a great roster and great recruiting class and great portal class.
Correct.
So something's wrong there.
And I'm glad you said great coach, or the coach that can get these guys, not only the players to believe in them and play well for them, but get the donors to believe in him, right? Because nobody's going to donate to somebody they don't believe in. That is partly why Brian Kelly got fired. Because you had the money, you had the players, you did not win. The donors no longer believe that you were the guy, and they didn't like you, and they didn't want to pay you anymore. They didn't want to give you money. That wasn't like you weren't going to get the same resources, the same support from him because they already did it and you blew up in their face. It's not always going to work. But if you know that you've set it up and you have the right guy leading it, and it's set up the right way where it's like, okay, listen, we know we're not always going to win every single year. We need to be competitive, and we need to have the brand of football on the field that we believe is going to have success long term. They didn't believe that he was the guy. They didn't believe that he was the guy to be able to lead the guys, the players in Baton Rouge, and so they weren't going to support him anymore, right? And so I'm glad you brought up the coach because that is the money's there to be had. You can go find it in Baton Rouge. You have people that want to give it to you, but they're not going to just blindly throw it at whoever the coach is. The guy that you hire has got to have the support, and he has to make the donors and the money guys believe in him that he is the guy that he's going to be able to lead these guys to wins and put a good brand of football on the field.
That's what I brought up. Like, why is it worth even leaving whenever I already have a continue? Because all these coaches that are good coaches.
Correct, but if they are a guy at a, that's why I think we're leaning towards someone that is at a smaller school. Because that guy is like, okay, I know how I am. I know I am a good coach. I know that I can get these guys to play for me. I've done it. I've won everywhere. DeBoer won everywhere. Cignetti won everywhere. Small schools went up and flew up the ladder, right? Well, Cignetti took a little bit longer, but DeBoer flew up the ladder, right? So if you get a guy that has that type of mindset and that talented of a coach, hey, I'm going to go there. I know that there's some shit going on, but I'm going to go. If I can get the in Louisiana, if you can get the football team right, everything else just kind of falls in line here.
And you're a legend.
Correct. And so I think that you go get a guy that says, okay, listen, I get it. I understand what you need. I understand what the players need. I'm going to be that guy, and he's going to have to win over the people who are hiring him. And if they get that and he goes in there and he has a press conference and it is very put together, concise, confident, I believe he can get the support behind him, and I think that they can go out there and put a really good team on the field.
Because LSU has tried everything else, right? You've tried to go most recently with the established guy. Before that, you went with the guy that got it, right? One of us. Okay? And then before that, you went and got a coach, a head coach that was at another Power 5 school that you said, oh, if he comes down here, he can win. All three or two of the three worked out.
Right.
Where if that's what you wanted, but you had no –
But
you didn't feel like you ever got over the hump.
Correct. And when you're hiring Brian Kelly, you're facing the death penalty before he got here.
That's part of the conversation we're having today.
No doubt. Like, when he got here, you had to go get a guy that you felt like was going to stabilize a disaster. And look, it's a disaster. I talked about how it's better now than it was in 21. It is in a sense, but right now the optics don't look
just the football
really
part is better than it was.
Yes.
All of it now is a fucking disaster.
Yes. It's just it's not scandal disaster. It's just an unorganized disaster.
It's like Louisiana.com.
Right? And so, you gotta have to go get a guy now.
But you don't know.
Did you read the article that Jacob Hester wrote?
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty good.
Well, yeah.
Right? Like,
that's what happens if you write about something you believe in.
Correct. Like, it is good. It shows you, it talks about the type of coach that we need. It's not about the guy who's the best, he needs to know his X's and O's, obviously. He needs to be able to go motivate, but he has to understand the fabric of Louisiana, what the culture is here. You don't have to be from here. You just have to understand what it means to everybody here, right? And I think that's going to be the most important thing to find when you look for a coach. And if you get that guy who understands it and embraces it and wants to be a part of it, immerses himself in it, he's going to succeed here. I truly believe that.
So to me, yes, that's 100% right. But to me, all of that truly just means it's got to mean something to the coach.
That's what I mean.
I'm not just coming here to grab another job.
Right.
I'm not just coming here to kind of level up. I'm not just coming here to take a bigger check. I'm not just coming here to maybe hold one trophy. It's got to mean something to the coach. It's got to mean something to him that I have this opportunity and I ain't about to fuck it up. I'm going to do this thing right. I am going to be one of the people. I am going to, like you said, immerse myself into the people. And then that's how you get indoctrinated by the people. And I think that's what turns that job into something different. I think that's what turns that into an absolute monster that it could be. That job has to mean something to you. Not just another job, another notch on the belt, another rung on the ladder, another opportunity. It has to mean the opportunity for you.
Correct. 100%. So we'll see if they can find the guy that it means a lot to.
I mean, who, in your mind, it feels like everybody thinks that is Lane Kiffin, right? He's the one that checks all of the boxes, but you have no clue if he's even interested because he could build his legacy at Ole Miss. And
he can look, man, I've got a good spot here. I've been through some stuff in my life.
I've never had stability.
I don't really want to have to deal with that. That could be his thought process right now.
Right,
as it stands today.
That's kind of what led me to think about it like this, is because if Lane Kiffin has relationships, obviously they love him, and if he continues to win 10 games, 11 games, maybe sneak into a playoff, and that's a consistent model of success where it's not, where's the championship? You haven't heard that from Ole Miss yet.
Right.
It's just like, oh, we're kind of getting good.
Right.
And if you do that long enough, yeah, but when you do that long enough, at some point it does become, this is the standard here, and why don't we have a championship?
Right. Correct.
I'll say this, and correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure I read this somewhere about him. It was a quote that he put out there. When he talked about taking the USC job, it was one job that in his mind he told himself if he ever got that opportunity, that was something he couldn't pass up. And he took that job. And it didn't go well for him. I wonder now if that's how he views those kind of opportunities. Correct. As a, man, it's shiny. I don't need all that. I don't need to do all that. And I would imagine that he's obviously history there before, right? Like he was on those staffs that were in the glory days of USC. So that's a little bit different for him. But in terms of what the glory days of USC was and where the LSU brand is here today and where it could be, you almost kind of put it in where, man, I could bring that back to that. I don't need that though.
Right.
That I tried that one time before. I don't want to go back to do that again. And so I wonder if that's in the back of his mind at all. And that almost has nothing to do with who LSU is and where LSU is. It almost is if he doesn't take the job, I wonder if that's in his mind, because this is who I am as a man today. I chased that job one time, and it ended up being the biggest embarrassment of my career damn near. Yeah. I don't know if I want to do that again.
Right. No, you're correct. And that is I imagine those are conversations he's having, right? And that's going to be a challenge to get him over here. Did you have another? Were you going somewhere else with that, or is that you're just talking strictly about Lane Kiffin?
That just feels like because of the box that he checks, and then that was going to be my question: was who else truly does? And if it's not anybody that is a quote unquote big name, I don't know why they wouldn't go in the direction that you're thinking of. Like it's LSU. Is this the first time that they go? Look, we tried to do it this way. We've tried to do it this way. The one thing they haven't really done is hire an up-and-comer.
Right.
And it might be that time.
You know the guy that I like.
Yes, and I like him too because you convinced me.
I like the guy a lot. I think he's a young guy. He played football. He played football at a high level, and he has done nothing but win and put up a ton of points and develop the players. Now, he's doing it at a small school in North Texas. I'm not saying when I say I want him, if I wasn't confined to a certain amount of certain named coaches or whatever, and I said you could pick anybody you wanted and whatever, I like the guy. I think he's a great coach. I don't think LSU is going to offer it to him. I think he's going to end up at like Arkansas or somewhere like that.
Yeah, Eric Morris.
Eric Morris from North Texas. I mean, I love the guy. I don't think that we're going to get him, but it's where it feels like it's moving towards those types of candidates.
And
and that may be okay. That doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It doesn't mean LSU's not a good job. It doesn't mean that you settled for somebody. It means that, hey, we did our research. We went through some guys. Yeah, maybe the top 2 or 3 names that are making $12 million a year don't want to come here. But let's go find somebody else. Let's go find the next Kenny Dillingham. Let's go find the next Kalen DeBoer before he gets to become really big, right? Let's go find that guy.
For that search, and I'll ask both of you this, why would you not start – I know I think there's this mindset of LSU being the brand that they are, that they can go get anybody in the country, and you try to find established head coaches that win. If you bring them to LSU, they'll win even more. But at what point do you start looking around and do what other high-level programs have done, where they look at certain coaching trees and go, why would I not want Georgia's defensive coordinator?
That too.
Well, the hell what other high-level programs have done? That's pretty much what you've done in your most successful times yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, look at your own success and say, whoa, well, what did we do back then? Did we go chase the GOATs? Did we go chase the top of the market when we went and got these guys? And when we were at our best? We didn't.
No.
So I love that question that you're bringing up, Lloyd, because you ain't got to look further. You ain't got to go look in Athens, Georgia, and see what they're doing. You ain't got to go look in Tennessee and say, hey, how'd you bring it back? You don't have to go look at Ole Miss and say, hey, how are you doing this? Look at your own damn history.
None of those guys at those schools you named were active head coaches when they got hired.
No. All coordinators.
The only one that was a head coach before was Kiffin, and it was, he was good and not good. Good, not good. He had some stuff that came with him, baggage. He wasn't a head coach. Kirby Smart wasn't a head coach. Heupel wasn't a head coach. Our boy in Texas was, but then wasn't. He hired him as a coordinator when he was a coordinator. There's other options than going after guys that are current head coaches. There are.
Yeah, it proves to be, it might be the smarter way to do it.
Correct.
As opposed to, I got to go poach this guy because our ego is so conflated and so big that we can get him all we have. If it's money, we got money. Well, I don't know about that, but I know LSU was never starved for money whenever it came to making a hiring or a firing, so I do believe you got money. But at some point, you do have to do like your actual due diligence and find a different candidate that's somebody that's not just 1A on the list and go, oh, that's who you have to get.
Right.
But what do I know? I don't know. I just think it might be time to start looking at everybody that was on. Now you start looking at Kirby Smart's tree. He came from Saban's tree, and when you look at like the coaching trees of this, like Dan Lanning was on what? Saban's tree, and then Lanning, and then he was on he was on Kirby's tree. Like this is it's not that you don't have to overthink this thing as much as people want to do. It's like go get somebody. It's like look at like coordinators that have done it at a very high level. Why do you think Kirby Smart keeps him around? It's not because he's bad at his job. Like you have, and people are like, well, that's Kirby's defense. Well, he's running it.
Right.
And that's kind of just because I think that's
the same way Saban. Oh, Saban's defense. But like,
I think people are very quick to say, no, that's all Dan Lanning. No, that's all Kirby. It's like, I think he just found somebody he wants to hang out with.
Right.
Like, I think they're pretty good at their job. They're just looking, they're waiting for an opportunity.
Yeah. Look, I think the longer we go, I think you're gonna. I'm hoping that they start looking that route. Right. I'm hoping that they look at a guy with those types of qualifications, not necessarily just a head coach. But we'll see. Let's talk a little bit about the weekend. We haven't talked any football, just coaching searches.
Well, this is the first news. It's the first news that came out was today. We're back to 9-on-7 drill. Come on now.
Listen, Weeks don't look like he's playing.
No, he might not ever play again.
Looks like he's out. Frank has come out a lot and said it's going to look different. I do believe that it's going to look different. I think that they're going to play more physical. I think that they're going to try to run the football. And look, if you go look at the last 3 games, yeah, they've run the football better by yards per carry. It just hasn't been consistent runs. Lloyd said it best. It's almost like it's hidden yardage. It's almost like they run the football and you look up and you're like, damn, we ran for 120 yards at 5 yards a carry, but where did those yards come from? And so I do believe you're going to.
It only takes one.
Yeah, right. And it wasn't one. In those 3 games, it wasn't just one. They had maybe 1 or 2 big plays, but they ran the football, but it wasn't consistent. I do believe you're going to see them run the football more, hopefully for some success. I do think you're going to be more physical. I think you're going to see the offense look a little bit different. It's not going to be a lot of the same stuff. You're going to see some of the same stuff, but it's not going to be hopefully as frustrating. What I am nervous about, right, because Alabama's obviously really good. They're ranked, 4th in the CFP polls right now. They're good. They're playing at home. What I'm nervous about is what happens if it doesn't start off well, right? What happens if you go 3 and out and Alabama goes down and scores, right? What happens if you get down 10? Is it going to just be, oh, shit, here we go again, and then cash it in and you get beat by 35 points, right? Because that would be absolute worst-case scenario. Or is it going to be, all right, we're going to go out there and we're going to go and we're going to play for each other and we're going to play hard and we're going to go and we're going to compete and we're going to chip away at this thing and make it a game? I don't know, but that's my fear for this weekend.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same plane a little bit. Not exactly the same, but my mind sits more so in, I think we've seen enough to believe in the defense, if that makes any sense. I think we've seen enough to not truly think that the defense is the quote-unquote problem, right? Because we haven't really seen the offense run up and down the field. So for me, it's not even about what they may give up defensively. It really is just about how competent does the offense look when they come out there? Yeah. Can they sustain drives? Can they move the ball? Can they run the ball? Can they complete passes? Can they convert third downs? Like, that's the thing to me that, like, if that doesn't happen early, where does it go? Because I feel like that's when it could get really ugly for them right now. That's the part that I think in this spot, like, I'm most worried about is because think about it this way. Like, those guys on defense that are getting an opportunity to play, it's a reactionary part of the game. So a lot of everything that you're doing, you still have the opportunity to put your stuff on tape, if that makes any sense, especially for the guys that are still playing, right? Like Lloyd, we can sit here and I think as outside looking in, we don't have ideas of what's going on in the building, but I would assume that there's some thoughts on health and future going through Witt's mind and or Witt's camp and how maybe he's approaching this. Or he's way more hurt than what anybody knows, right? And so that's the case on that side of the ball. But when we flip it back to the offensive side of the ball, well, a lot of where I'm going to go from here on out has to do with the back of my player card. Because from here on out, there's a very slim chance that we get out of here, right? So you wonder at that point, do you still have buy-in to go block somebody down the field? Do you still have buy-in to give that second effort? Because if I'm not getting the ball and we ain't got no chance to win and we ain't going nowhere, how much effort are those guys going to continue giving?
Right.
And it's such a big room, especially the receivers room. Now you got the backs where we're mixing in Harlem Berry, we're mixing in a lot of guys, right? How much buy-in do you still have there? And that's the side of it that I worry about. We've heard so much clamoring about it, like, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it out there. What if 2 quarters don't go well and they say, hey, Garrett.
Well, that's all I'm about to ask.
Come take a seat. Let's get Van Buren out there.
Yeah.
Like, how much buy-in do you still have from Nussmeier then? Correct. Like, that's what I'm worried about, the offensive side of the ball and where I guess the mindset of that is, because I feel like that side could go really quickly. And if you don't have buy-in from those guys at this point, man, it's tough.
100%. And I mean, I'm on that same thought process. Here's the other thing. Like, obviously, offense has been the biggest issue, right? Defensively, when we've gotten gashed over the last 2 games, you got gashed because you played. Marcel Reed ran all over you, and you got gashed because you could not contain old boy from Pavia, and you couldn't contain
Marcel Reed,
Chambliss, right?
And Chambliss.
All 3 of those guys move around, run around, do all that kind of stuff. I think Ty Simpson's the best quarterback out of all of those guys, but he's going to beat you with his arm. He's going to try to beat you with his arm. He can move around. He's mobile enough, but he's not a guy that's going to go and have a ton of design quarterback runs. He's not going to run for 50 yards. And so you're going to the secondary is going to get challenged, which we believe is the strength of our defense, right? So they haven't run the ball super efficiently from the running back position.
They can't stop the run either.
Right? They haven't stopped the run really well. But you have a quarterback that can rip it and he can throw it all over the field. You got 3 wide receivers that have the ability to beat you, right? And Jeremy Bernard, Ryan Williams, and Isaiah Horton. Horton's got 5 touchdowns. He has the least amount of yards at all 3 of those guys, but he's got the second most touchdowns behind Bernard. And so you're going to have the secondary is going to have a challenge, which I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see what the secondary looks like against those types of receivers and that quarterback, and hopefully the defense can go get after him without having to worry of him running for 50 yards down the field. So, in my opinion, like, Alabama's great. Alabama's really good. But I think LSU, talent-wise, can match up with them. It's just, can they continue to have that buy-in throughout the course of the entire game?
And to your point about Van Buren and Garrett Nussmeier, on the SEC teleconference, Frank Wilson says Michael Van Buren has taken more snaps than he normally has, emphasizes that Garrett is a starter, but at any moment, MVB will be a part of the game plan versus Alabama.
He's going to have packages for sure. And if it starts off kind of like
you think it's a package thing, or do you think it's, hey, you're mixed in, I want you to get these reps in because if you go in, you're in?
Well, that's what I was getting to. I think it's going to start off as a package thing, but I think if the offense starts stalling, he's in. And it's going to be, hey, let's get you the feel of the game. You hadn't started yet. Let's get you in there. And if it looks like the offense is sparking with you in there, you're the guy. That's what I believe. That's how I believe it's going to. I don't think he's going to say, oh, you're going in. Hey, first quarter didn't go in, you're in. I think it's going to be, you're going to play. He's going to come in for a package. Damn, this offense has a spark. Look at him go, and now he's the guy. That's how I think it's going to go. What about you?
I think it's Nussmeier's game until it turns around. I don't really think that there's going to be much of the package stuff because, listen, I'm not saying – go look at what he does. He can move. He's mobile. He runs. He does all that. But that's still not really who he is at heart. And I think he uses that more when he's in the game, but he's still not truly like he didn't. Correct me if I'm wrong, like he didn't come in as a dual threat quarterback, right?
No, not necessarily. But people see his ability to move, and I
agree. I 100% agree with that. We see his ability to move, and we think that that's
right.
What he
is.
He's
a thrower of the
that's
football.
how his game is played. But I don't really think that that's truly how he plays his game. So with that being said, I guess the point I'm trying to make is I don't think it's let's throw some packages in there that we can do some different stuff, because I do think at this point you gotta let's be honest. If we're going to throw Nussmeier out there, is because we're expecting him to play at the height of his capabilities.
I agree with that.
With 3 losses on the season already, and he's on his way out the door, mentally, do you really think you're going to keep him that tied in if you're pulling a guy on and off the field when you don't have a chance to win championships, but that's where he's at? I find it hard that you're really going to try to keep him that connected, unless you've had some come to Jesus like eye to eye, honest as face talk, where he understands I will do whatever is best for this team right now, even if that means I got to come off the field at this point and that person's got to go on. I'll do that. Do you have full faith that kind of conversation has happened and that's how it's went? I think that's less likely than more likely, right? So with that being the case, I just don't think, if you hadn't really seen the package thing come out yet, I'm not sure how much that's a thing now. Now, if it ain't going great, I think there's an opportunity for you to see Van Buren. I do. Yeah. I think that may happen at this point. I don't think it comes in like a package type of situation.
If you're gonna see him in a package, I'm just going based off what Frank had said. Like, he said that there are opportunities on the red zone, goal line, that you may see Van Buren. That's just that's what he had said. You may not see him, you may see him, I don't know. But when I talk about that, I just, I think it's a combination of more so of Nuss not playing well, of him getting the opportunity to go in there. But I wouldn't be shocked if you saw him on some short yardage situations kind of in the red zone. That's based off of what Frank said. You may not see him at all.
Right, and look, and I understand that. I'm pretty sure they got it, and it would be a complete indictment on the current regime if you roll out some stuff like that and it's successful and it's obviously been in the back pocket all year and you hadn't used it, it would look terrible. It's hard for me to believe that, and I'm not saying that that they're going to go out there and try to do it in sense of making it look bad or whatever. It's hard for me to believe that if you had something that effective sitting there and you never once tried it, that you were willing to have that be something that's a stain on you. So I feel like if they were really, truly going to use that in a package form, we would have seen it somewhere. See, at least if it worked somewhere, and we haven't.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm kind of off that, but I do kind of think that's a great way to have some gamesmanship going through the week, right?
Yeah.
If I'm Alabama and I got 2 weeks to prepare, and you're telling me that this kid might come in, and now we got to take some time to study some of the tape for what he did last year at Mississippi State, and maybe some of what he's got in and done this year, that could be taken away from time of studying Garrett and making sure we have everything we need implemented for that. So, I feel like that may be a little bit more gamesmanship than anything. But yes, is it possible? I guess maybe so. I just don't believe. I would be shocked if I saw that, and I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, agreed. And Fletcher's here, so we're going to get to him here now. But yeah, I mean, I think with Frank, with the interim coach at this point, he has nothing to lose. If it was still Brian Kelly, I'd say yeah. I could 100% say no, that's not going to happen. With Frank, maybe he's just saying I'm going to try to change something up, do something different. We'll see. We'll talk more about this on the back end of this. I don't want to keep Fletcher waiting. His time is very valuable. We've been talking about the disaster that is Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Let's move on to New Orleans. Let's just move on down I-10 and just talk about the disaster that's the New Orleans Saints right now. They've started, I guess, the unpacking of the team, or I guess it's over with the trade deadline. Moved a couple pieces. Thought some other guys were going to get moved. They've put their second-round quarterback in as the starter quarterback, moving forward. Fletch, welcome back to the show. It's been a few weeks since we've had you. There was a lot of optimism before the season started. I say a lot of optimism. More optimism before the season started than there is now. Talk to me about the state of the New Orleans Saints. How is it going over there in New Orleans?
Yeah, not well. I mean, look, better than Baton Rouge maybe, but only because like that seems like real chaos. I mean, that's crazy.
Chaos.
Like, I mean, when you talk about real expectations, LSU have real expectations for a national championship this year, and now you've got an AD fired, a coach fired, a president saying the interim isn't really the full-time guy. I mean, I know you got me here to talk about Saints, but man, oh man, y'all have been busy. Yeah, the Saints suck. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I've been here 23 years at WDSU. I'm a born and raised New Orleanian, and I can't remember a team being quite this bad. I mean, they're like awful bad. Like, there's not a lot of silver linings right now. Like, this isn't, oh, we're just banged up and you can sell that. They're pretty healthy. I mean, they're super young, but the problem is who are the young star players? Right. Like, is there one player on defense you go, that's a dude, that's a game changer? In the secondary, in the front seven, is there anybody like that on offense? And so that's the sad reality of awful drafts since 2018. The Saints have drafted worse than anybody since 2018. Only one Pro Bowl draft pick, Eric McCoy, since 2018. And they signed Derek Carr. I mean, again, it's terrible. And so I thought they were going to be a little better than this. Yep. But I mean, that Saints Jets game, the weekend between Christmas and New Year's may truly be like they should almost flex it in the prime time, because it's going to be the loser of this game is probably getting the number 1 overall draft pick.
100%. Now, did you think that they were going to do more at the trade deadline as far as getting rid of guys and getting more picks? Because they got rid of Shaheed and they got rid of Penning, which I'm impressed they even got a draft pick for Trevor Penning. I know they used a first rounder on him. But they got rid of him, and knowing the Saints and kind of how everything kind of lines up, Trevor Penning's going to go on to be an All-Pro in the future here. But they only got rid of a couple guys. There's a couple other pieces you feel like they probably could have moved to accumulate more draft picks. Were you shocked that they only moved a couple?
I am. It's a great question, and I am shocked because not just about acquiring draft picks. Chris Olave is going into the final year. They picked up his rookie fifth-year option, but he's going to want a big deal. Even if he's not an elite receiver, but he's still going to want a bigger deal and not want to play that final year out. And then same with La'Ante Taylor. He's a guy who's going to want a significant contract. So I thought those two guys, just to alleviate the headache, of you having to decide, are they part of our future? Do we pay him or overpay him? Like last year, they overpaid Chase Young. They overpaid Juwan Johnson. Not bad players, but grossly overpaid for what they do on a team that's 1-8. I kind of thought maybe we see Taysom go. Taysom is a free agent, and I doubt he's back next year. So I kind of thought Sean Payton throws them a 2027 seventh and gets the guy that he discovered to go help the Broncos make a Super Bowl run, since they're pretty good this year. I also thought maybe we'd see Alvin Kamara go, because look, last year was Alvin Kamara's worst year as a pro, and this year he is descending to new depths of futility here. If you look at his stats and his numbers, and again, is it the offense and the young quarterbacks, or is it just that he's a running back over 30, and that's what happens to running backs over 30? So I kind of thought maybe we'd see Kamara. Look, when Sean Payton first got here, He took over a team coming off Katrina that went 3-13. And of the 53 players, he had 37 new players. And just kind of cleaned the deck, so to say, cleared the deck. I thought Kellen Moore and Mikie Loomis may use the trade deadline just to kind of wipe the slate a little more clean, get as many draft picks as you could possibly get, and then kind of continue this painful rebuild in the offseason in hope that you have better luck next year.
Fletch, you bring up Chris Olave, and having a pulse on the situation and what goes on there. Do you feel that they had him overvalued, or do you feel that there just wasn't a ton of interest in terms of trying to acquire him at the deadline?
Yeah, no, that's a great point too. I think they would have moved him if the price was right. I don't think they were giving Shaheed away, because I think Shaheed's a good player. But I think for an undrafted player who's probably a 3 on a great team, a 2 at best, that's a great go-deep guy. I think the draft compensation was fair. Again, he's going to be a free agent, so odds are he was going to walk out of here. Olave, I think they said in their mind, it's got to be a 2. We traded up to get him at like 12 in 2022 in the first round because of inconsistent quarterback play and injuries and young guys. He's never become elite. He's a good player. But I don't think I think they thought a third is a bridge too far, that he still has the ability to be an awesome number two, and maybe if you squint hard enough, like a number one receiver. So I think that it had to be a number two, and then anything after, like a 2 and a 5. And I think teams were probably just throwing them. Like last year, Marshawn Lattimore got traded for a third and a fourth. I think teams were probably more of like, that's where a lot of the compensation picks come from losing free agents. Like the Saints are probably going to get an extra fourth this year for losing Paulson and Debo in free agency. So I think there's teams that are kind of baking in, we're going to have additional third and fourths, and that's where they were throwing those picks. And I think the Saints probably just said, look, we just can't give them away, like, unless somebody gives us a 2, and they could just never get it done. Same with Alontae Taylor. I think they probably set Alontae Taylor at a 3 and maybe like a 7 or a 3 and a 6, and teams were probably coming with the same type of Shaheed deal, like 4 and 5 or 4 and 6. And so I think that, they probably felt like we want to make moves and go in a different direction, but we can't just, like, they gave Penning away. Penning is a bust. A 2027 6th round draft pick.
Right.
You may as well have, he's going to be a free agent because they didn't pick up his 5th year option. You may as well have just let him play out the rest of the year by giving away for that. That's just dumping this guy who's sick of watching him, and let's move on.
So what's next, right? You talked about this, right? They have the potential to have the number 1 overall pick. There's not really a quarterback coming out of the draft. You drafted a guy in the 2nd round. I don't know if they're ready to give up on him yet. He's just now had his first career start in the NFL last week. You get the number 1 overall pick. What do? Do you trade back to get more picks and to accumulate more roster spots? Or do you say, all right, we're going to go. There is a guy that we like at number 1, Fernando Mendoza at Indiana, if he ends up continuing to skyrocket. Like, there's not a clear-cut number 1 quarterback coming out. So what do you do? Yep.
You just took my answer, Mikey. You draft Fernando Mendoza number 1 overall. Like, here's the thing. I don't know if the Saints would do that. And the Saints are very clandestine. And, when they win, it's like, ooh, they're cooking up some secret stuff. But when they lose, they look like idiots who don't know what they're doing, and they don't explain anything because, like, Mrs. Benson doesn't do a lot of media. Mikie Loomis only does a couple of times a year when he has to. And they don't leak a lot of stuff. So right now, nobody knows what they're going to do. But, I'm curious to see. To answer your first question, what do they do the rest of this year? Basically, the rest of this year is figuring out, is Tyler Shuck the guy? Can they steal some wins? Can they split with Carolina? Can they split with Atlanta? They've got Tennessee, Miami, and the Jets on their schedule. Like, if they split with those 2 division teams and win those 3, they get to 6 wins, and they're probably picking 9 or 10, and they're not in the quarterback conversation then. But let's just assume they continue on this downward trend that they're on, and they are picking in the top 3. I think it's a massive injustice if they don't take a quarterback. And I understand it's a crapshoot. It's a legacy move for Mikie Loomis, and I don't know if he's got the guts to do it. Because look, the quarterbacks take some time to develop. Like Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold are perfect examples. They went 1 and 2, and they're on their 4th and 5th teams right now, finding amazing success. But their first teams thought they were bust. Zach Wilson is a bust. He went 2 overall. Trey Lance is a bust. He went 3 overall. But Joe Burrow also went 1 overall. And Josh Allen went 7. And, Jaden went 2. And Drake May went 3. If you got a chance to get a great quarterback early, and Tyler Shuck has not shown you that he is the guy, I feel like it would be a massive injustice if it's not Fernando Mendoza or the Simpson kid out of Alabama or Dante Moore out of Oregon. I feel like those guys are probably going to line up 1, 2, 3, not in the order of 1, 2, 3, but the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd quarterbacks off the board, be it 1, 3, and 4 or 1, 3, and 5 or 1, 3, and 6. I just think if they're picking 1, 2, or 3, and Shuck hasn't shown you he's a dude. This is our guy. This is our QB1. We've got a draft day steal. Everybody missed on him. then you're crazy if you don't take a quarterback.
Well, let me ask you this, right? Because like you talked about Baker Mayfield, you talked about Darnold, you talked about all these guys that are drafted high and that didn't work out with their first teams. There's a reason why they're drafted high, right? Their teams weren't good, right? And so they weren't put in situations to be able to go and maybe reach their full potential, right? I'm not saying Shook is in that situation. Obviously, the Saints aren't good, and he may not be the guy, but you're going to be in the same situation next year when you draft a guy 1, 2, or 3. The likelihood of him coming in right away and changing the franchise as a rookie is not very high because you don't have the pieces around him. How do you fix that? I mean, do you go into free agency and say, okay, we believe in this guy, we're going to go and spend money and go and find the pieces around him?
Again, these are all great questions, and I don't know what the right answer would be because the Saints have massive holes. Like, I agree with what you're saying. If Shuck shows you enough, then you can draft the best edge rusher like this kid out of Ohio State, Arvil Green, I believe his name is. He's like flying up draft boards right now. Or the kid out of Miami, the edge rusher, that is another top 5 pick. And so, yeah, if Chuck is your guy, then yes, you can add in other areas. But again, I look at NFL football like this. You have a great quarterback or you're looking for a great quarterback. So if you have a chance to get the great quarterback, you got to get him. I mean, look, there's teams that are in a cycle of loserdom because they cannot find a great quarterback. And so to me, I don't know if any of these guys in the draft will be great. But I know if you don't try to find greatness, you're never going to find it. The Saints kind of, look, if it was a Disney movie, people wouldn't believe it with Drew Brees, you know? That the guy down on his luck can barely pick up the football. Nick Saban fails him on a physical. He shows up in a city with a lot to prove on the men just like himself. And for 15 years, it was the greatest run in franchise history. I don't know if they're going to do that again. Like, I don't know if they're going to go sign Tua after this season and he's going to have the next great chapter of his career. They thought they were going to do that with Carr, and it didn't work out. And we can give each other examples of, you know, Daniel Jones is another great example. Didn't work out, high draft pick, 5th overall. It seems to be working out in Indianapolis. Are the Saints going to go try to trade for Mac Jones now, thinking Mac Jones is our dude, and our draft capital is going towards defense and star players for the rest of the roster? I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know which direction they're going to go in. But you're asking me my opinion. My opinion is if they're picking 1, 2, or 3, draft your quarterback and figure out the rest on the fly because that's the hardest thing to figure out. And until you have a great quarterback, you're just kind of irrelevant.
Yeah, that's very much true, and that's why you see the New York Jets. I believe they do have a plan in place where they trade. Obviously, they had stars, right? They had hit on their draft picks with Sauce Gardner, Quinnen Williams, but they trade them because they don't have a quarterback. And so they have acquired, and I think that their plan is, it's not so much quarterback in 2026, but you know who is a quarterback in 2027, and the Jets have 3 first-round picks. So I think their plan, regardless of how their success is to be able to put all those picks together and trade for whoever has the first overall pick to be able to get Arch Manning. Like, they have a plan in place to be able to attack in 2027 because even if it's not Arch, the quarterback room is just better in that regard. It's the players that you were looking for, and you could take 2 of those picks. Like, Ryan Williams is going to be in the draft. Jeremiah Smith is going to be in the draft. You need to start looking at 2027 as the rebuild, as much as that pains you to say. In my mind, what do you think?
Yeah, look, I think the Jets did a great job. Look, the Jets had better players to trade. That's why, like, Sauce Gardner's awesome. That's why they got 2 1s for him. But the Jets, look, they have, in the next 2 drafts, they're going to own more high-value draft picks and more number 1 draft picks than anybody else. Whether they want to draft, look, maybe Fernando Mendoza is Aaron Glenn's guy. Maybe Dante Moore is his guy. So I don't know if teams set, just having talked to NFL people, I don't know if they build that far out. Like, I don't know if they say, like, I think with what you're saying, Lloyd, is you're right. It is if the quarterback's not there, they aren't forced into taking the quarterback this year because they have so much ammunition for 27 as well. But if the guy they like at quarterback is there, that they feel like is their guy, that is Aaron Glenn's guy, then they would take him this year, I think. I think they're going to be picking in the top 3. And I think if they love Ty Simpson, you know?
Right.
I just think that maybe that's their guy. Like maybe, coach's kid, Aaron Glenn resonates with that. Maybe that's their guy. But I think for all these teams, the path forward is always the draft. Look, the Saints got good in 06 because the 06 draft. Breeze was the greatest free agent in team history, maybe one of the greatest free agents in NFL history. But that draft, they crushed it. From Reggie to Roman, Jari Evans, Zach Strief, Marcus Colston, even guys they let out of here like Ninkovich had 10-year Super Bowl champion careers with the Patriots. And then you look at 17, which really ushered in the next great chapter here. And that was the draft where it was
Kamara,
Lattimore, and Kamara, and Marcus Williams, and I mean, even like Alex Anzalone, the guys who aren't even here anymore are still like really good players in the league. And so, again, you've got to draft well, and the Saints have done it poorly. The Jets have actually done it well. That's one of the things I'll say about the Jets. The Jets have drafted well. They just can't put anything together. They're just like a dysfunctional mess. The Saints can at least say we drafted poorly and we got to draft better. And the path to getting good is through the draft. But do they draft a quarterback or not? I don't know. I would do it. Like that's my take is you've got to be able to trust your evaluation process, target your guy, and say, let's go.
I agree with you there, and I think to that Jets conversation, like the thing of it is I don't necessarily agree or subscribe to that they're going straight to 2027. They have 5 first-round picks over the next 2 years, 2 this year, 3 next year. They're positioning themselves to get who they want and who they evaluate as that guy. If it happens to be a guy this year, they got the ammunition to do it. If it happens to be a guy next year, they'll punt and go do it that way. But when you look at the Saints and where they are right now, I would love to know about the vibe of the city, of the fan base, of how things go, because it has been 20 plus since we've actually seen the Saints commit and admit, if you will, that this is now rebuild. It wasn't. They've kind of masked that. Even this year, I think the first thing that they showed this year to me in my mindset that said, "Hey, we're punting, but you don't know it," is the first game of the year. If you remember, they opened the year wearing alternate uniforms. Nobody in the history of nobody does that, and it's an alternate uniform they never worn before. So I thought that was the first sign. But now, when you're sellers at the deadline and legitimate sellers, there is no other sign that you're putting out there saying that we are rebuilding. And that's where you're at right now. What's the vibe in the city now of the fan base being able to see stuff like that?
Yeah, it's that good. I mean, and so they have the pitchforks out hard and pointed directly at the general manager, Mikie.
That's what I was going to ask next.
Yeah, Mikie is like persona non grata here. But the thing is look, he's in. And I may have used this reference to you all. You all are like baseball guys that played professional baseball. Like the Brian Cashman is the longtime general manager of the New York Yankees because the Steinbrenners brought him on board like right out of college, out of D.C. in '96, and they'll never get rid of him. Like George liked him, Hal liked him. He's part of their family, basically. And there's a lot of people in New York that hate Brian Cashman and think that the Yankees have been to one World Series since 2010 last year, and they didn't win it. But Mickey Loomis is locked in with Gail Benson and the decision makers there. So he is their guy. But make no mistake, the fans have turned on him as, Sean Payton and Drew Brees left, and you have promised great things. That Dennis Allen was going to be great, that Derek Carr was going to be great, that this year the team around the young quarterbacks was going to be much better. And it has just been, it's not a lie because I think he believes it, but it's just awful communication. The messaging has been terrible, and the fans here are pretty fed up with Mickey Loomis and what's happening out there. But again, I try to tell everybody, he's not going to get fired. He's just not. They're never going to get rid of him. He's been here for a quarter of a century, and her husband trusted him. She trusts him. They are not to the point of pushing him into retirement anytime soon. But fans are. It was Dennis Allen and Derek Carr. They were the lightning rods for fan frustration. And I hadn't seen like hatred like that in a long, long time. And then, they fired Dennis. the car situation goes off the rails and he's gone, Mikie is moved into that seat of public enemy number one.
Well, that's all I was going to ask about Mikie, but you've kind of answered that. A lot of positivity.
Jeff Landry could win the election if he gets rid of one more guy.
Lot of positivity in Louisiana football right now. Doesn't look bright on either side of it. And
look, I mean, here's the thing: you could just put the cherry on top. The Pelicans stink too. So this disaster that we keep talking about. It's I feel like the Southeastern Lions are Louisiana's football team right now. Like Frank Salvo's he's like 5-0 in Southland Conference play, and
there we go.
That's where we are right now. And UNO basketball with Master P's money upset TCU.
Yep.
And these are the things we're clinging to right now for positivity.
Hey, whatever we can. We got to have some positive stuff, and if we have to lean on those schools right now, we'll lean on them. Fletch, I know you don't have too much time. I appreciate you always making time for us. Talk a little Saints, talk a little Louisiana sports. You're the man. We appreciate you. And
I appreciate. Also, Mike, I got a question here. I know you were but dude, you put your arms out maybe you missed your calling. Dude, your wingspan is huge.
I have a long.
Should maybe played some basketball or something.
I did. I played a lot of basketball growing up. That was actually my favorite sport. I just was a 6 foot.
I was just gonna say
6'1",
you
6'1"
put your
white.
arms out like this, and I was like, damn, dude, this guy maybe should have played some point guard or some 2-guard and D'd up. Could have been the next Alex Caruso.
Yeah, my problem was a 3-guard at 6'1". That didn't work out very well for me. I needed to be a point guard. I didn't have the handles to do that. But I appreciate that.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
You just made his week 100%.
1,000%. I was about to say the same thing. He's gonna take that to bed with him.
I'm a dream about that.
Yeah.
Me playing the NBA. Fletch, I appreciate you, dude. You're the man.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you. Man, a lot of good stuff happening in Louisiana sports.
Oh, Jay Daniels, Joe Burrow both hurt?
Yep. Nothing to really cling on.
No,
Nothing.
there's not.
Nothing.
What happened to this?
I can't log into my account because it says sign in with a provider, and my provider is YouTube TV, which I can't even
Twitter.
do. So that's cool. Always love Fletch, obviously. Saints are a disaster, but trade deadline happened, made some moves. Pretty much what everybody, I think, anticipated as far as what the outlook is. And we shall see what draft pick they have next year and what they do with that. Mikie Loomis isn't going anywhere. So a lot of good stuff there.
Ramazan with an update from Southern Regional Medical Center. Very big basketball fan. This was at 6:49. This is probably, 40 minutes ago?
Yep.
Opening night and very small crowd. Come on, LSU fans, you can do better. This team deserves a crowd. Don't worry, when we start winning, the bandwagon will accept you all.
There you go.
So I guess not people as excited.
Well, it's Tarleton State.
I don't think that matters.
And that doesn't matter.
They're winning 11-6.
Yeah, great.
There we go.
There we go. There we go.
13-6.
There we go. Look at that. That's how it starts. Speaking of basketball, Bruce Pearl's son almost got upset. First game. It was like 95-90.
Who'd they play? They played some
it wasn't a good team.
No, and they had 30 free throws.
Who did?
Auburn.
Auburn shot 30
free throws. They had more free throw attempts than field goals attempts.
Wow.
So I think they got bailed out a little bit by the refs.
Yeah,
That's what everybody said on Twitter.
Yeah. I didn't watch the game. I just saw the score and in the press conference that he said everybody be patient, which I know Auburn fans love that.
Yeah, they're already if anybody has it worse than LSU, it might be Auburn, but they're so conditioned to this, fire him.
Yeah.
But they lost their one, and that was their sport, right? When you
say
Auburn,
yeah.
Because Bruce Pearl had kind of turned that thing around.
And now he's running for office.
Yeah, well, anybody can do it.
Apparently, especially in Alabama.
Especially in Louisiana.
Well, I mean, you got him. You had Tuberville.
Yeah.
And you also have A.J. McCarron.
And Feinbaum is dabbling in those waters.
Look good. Alabama.
That's a cabinet right there.
That's it. That's it. All right. I want to talk more about LSU for this weekend, but we have Friday show.
We do.
We can do that on Friday. We talk gambling. Back on the gambling train.
Yeah.
I did not gamble.
We need our boy to get hot again.
We were hot.
I know.
I didn't bet when he got off the heater though, because I was not here.
It's okay.
But we'll do it again.
I think I'm 0 for the season so far.
Yeah,
I haven't been great.
It has not been great.
I have not been great. I had a nice
So if anybody follow Carmelo, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But be back on Friday because I'm coming back.
I said,
I'm
hey,
coming
listen.
back with some more.
You can't get hot unless you if you stop shooting. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I did look for 2 weeks. Our guy who was helping us with some picks got hot for a couple weeks.
Yep.
And kind of got us in a little spot. And then last week he wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. I didn't get to bet it because I was recovering from my trip to Toronto. So this week it'll be better. All right, you got a mistake of the day?
I don't know if this is a mistake of the day. It is somewhat sad, I think.
Okay.
So, I mean, great for, I don't know if you've seen this, but great for Matt Khalil. Have you seen this yet? Matt Khalil obviously played offensive line, Pro Bowler.
Yep.
He got divorced from his wife, who was Haley Khalil, Sports Illustrated model and influencer. She recently went on a podcast and talked about their divorce, and the reason for which they got divorced had nothing to do with, marital differences. His cock was too big. It was the size of 2 Coke cans if you stacked them on top of each other.
That's what she said.
And she said we couldn't really do anything intimately, and it was like a lot of pain. She's like, I tried everything, but there was nothing we could really do to make this work.
She didn't before they got married. That wasn't an issue.
When you really love somebody, maybe you think you can make it work. But this is what she went on. She went public with it and said, we still actually really like each other. There's just some things we can't do, and so went along their separate ways.
Wow.
But yeah, she said 2 Coke cans or maybe 3. Which is like I don't blame you.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, Jesus, I bet he loved the shower.
I'm gonna go ahead and guess that's I'm gonna guess that's some exaggeration, but I mean, whatever, man.
Yeah. Good for him.
Yeah.
Wow.
But he can have too much of a good thing.
What a
I
reputation.
Guess. Yeah. Now, I mean, he's gonna get so many phone calls. Like, this is great for me.
Wow.
Oh boy.
So I didn't know if it was a mistake or a curtain call.
I mean, I guess that could be a both.
It's one for each.
Yeah, that's it. Speaking of curtain calls, what you got?
I do. As we are currently trying to find any positivity in Louisiana.
Yes, please.
Tulane is still providing that spark with their social media team because it is fuego for these uniform drops.
Yeah.
And they're continuing to use New Orleans and what it is and what it means and all of that kind of the culture around it. And it feels like they're taking LSU's spot, certainly in the social media realm. But here's the new drop for the uniform. Oh, I can't play the song. I wish I could.
Oh, you gotta play that.
You can't. We get in trouble.
You get copyrighted.
I know, obviously.
Yeah. But
uniforms are great colors, good uniforms. They do a great job.
Well, not then it's going in with like the
the music,
the snowballs.
Yeah. And
they make one, and they baby the colors. It's just, I mean, these are very popular in New Orleans. So I just thought that was cool.
Everybody say, if you know New Orleans, you know what that is.
Yeah. And it's a snowball, not a snow cone.
That's
it.
That's it. Jay, you got one?
Yeah, I got one, man. I'm gonna keep it honest, man. I think sometimes the first step is admitting. I think the Saints finally decided to admit yesterday, so I'd love to give a curtain call to them. In a season where it looks ugly, I've had a lot of conversation with people, like off camera, some of my boys who are die-hard Saints fans, and still watch it as if they thought we were going to be winning games this year. And I'm just like, look, I am as far as you can probably, y'all know me well enough, dude. I don't buy into the whole tank idea. Like, I just don't. I don't think it's cool. I don't think it's good. And I think it's a mindset that if you get all the way down into the coaches and or into the players, it is a culture that it is so hard to get out. And I think that part of tanking is the part that is so detrimental to future success that I just don't subscribe to tanking. But I do think the Saints have finally understood, or finally started to show, like, if we want to get better, we had to probably get a little worse first, and we probably have to strip this thing down and break some of this thing down to be able to move in the right direction. And I think they're making the moves to do so. I give them props. I give them a little bit of a curtain call for understanding that that's where you are. So let's go ahead and do what we need to do to be able to move forward.
Love that.
Kind of somber in terms of where they are and what they're doing and what it's going to look like the rest of the year. But if we want to get back to those days that we got a chance to grow up on, that we got a chance to see when it was the best of the Saints, that 20-year span, if you want to call it that, some of this stuff needed to start to happen.
It's a good one. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I ain't really got much anything positive to say about anything right now. I don't have one. There hadn't been many curtain calls recently. My biggest curtain call was obviously to our friend Kevin Gosman, which I used out on Monday. So just one of those weeks.
Yeah, you would hope that.
Well, there's really hopefully there's the curtain calls over the weekend.
Yeah,
for LSU. We'll see.
We'll see.
But that's all I got.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm trying to find you.
No, I've been searching. Can't find nothing. So
maybe it'll be this LSU basketball.
Maybe, or maybe it'll be LSU this weekend ends up playing well.
Yeah.
Gives us something
how
to
about
look
this
at.
one? How about this? I got you. It is a good way to send off the show. You want somber? I show you a championship celebration, because I didn't know, but I'm not surprised. I think I've seen him crip walk before. But
Oh, look at Freddie with the worm.
yeah, it's an incredible worm.
Great worm.
What? Oh.
Huh.
Actually, I got a curtain call. Did you see the Kike Hernandez interview?
No, I know what you're talking about though.
Which one? He had a couple fire
Yeah.
ones out there.
I'm gonna find it.
He's real good in the playoffs.
He is very entertaining. This one right here. Wait, no, wait. It's
Is it the one where he's in the helmet?
Yes.
He's talking about his nipples.
Yep. He is he's a gem.
He is. I didn't know he was like that.
I did.
No, that's everybody. That's pretty well known in the league. That like that's him.
Because he's not very good in the regular season, but I have seen
Postseason Kike. That's
is
it.
real. Let's see.
Project to get an A, but I got an A, and here we are, back-to-back champs, David.
That's right, Enrique. 3-time World Series champion, back-to-back. Enrique Hernandez.
Love your nipples. Project.
What did he cut the top off his helmet?
I don't know what he did. He's one of a kind.
That is awesome. New favorite player.
Yeah, that's it. All right, that's all.
Happy.
That's all. He should be. They just won the World
Yeah.
Series. That's all we got for you on this beautiful Wednesday night. We'll be back live in studio on Friday from 1 to 2-ish, talking all things gambling, talking more about LSU football this weekend. Hopefully nothing else happens in the news that takes our attention off of the football that has been playing on the field. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you can't watch us, but you like listening to us or anywhere you get your pods. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We'll see you on Friday. Peace.
Hit him.
We didn't deserve the fireworks
That's
today.
for what's going on in the state right now. That
We
ain't
didn't
on
deserve them
us.
today.
No, that ain't on us.
That ain't on us.
And we got 6 Ask Mikey and Mitch questions we'll get to on Friday.
Oh yeah, I forgot I was asking Mikey.
It's okay. The people didn't, but I will get to them fine.
Yeah,
I will
we
get
get
to them.
them.
They get
I
mad at
promise.
me.
I promise.
I
Sorry.
will get to them. You shut it down before.
We got. Oh, you shut it down.
No, we're still apologizing.
We had a lot. You know, we ended up talking a little bit more about the football stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not on in mine.
No, you are.
Okay. We started talking about the football coaching and all the disaster that we had, and sorry, we got a little carried away.
Yeah.
We'll get you on Friday.
We'll get you on Friday. Put them in the dock.
That's it.